Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers. You're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and Josh is out this week. So we've got something else fun lined up because we always talk about who we're grinding. We can't just not do that. So I brought someone else in to talk about who they're grinding. We'll be talking with SonicDeathMonkey. He is a guildmate, and he was a guildmate in Black Sun Heroes. He is now a guildmate in Radio Free Tatooiners, and he took some time off from the game. So we're going to check in, see what it was like. He took 2 years off the game and then came back about 4 months ago. And we talk about what that was like leaving and what it was like coming back and the changes he's seen and how he feels about it. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. That's coming up soon. We also have a new Datacron set that we didn't get to last week because there was too much news. And I don't know how much you all have heard about the Relic Delta, but that will be discussed tonight. And I almost waited because it's as I'm recording, it's still kind of breaking news. And I think Josh is going to have a lot to say, but I can't not talk about it. So we'll get to that as well. But first, let's celebrate some Blurf days. All right, we've got plenty this week. On the 27th, the walking carpet himself, Chewbacca, turning 7 years old. 7 years of Chewbacca in Galaxy of Heroes. And I remember when his event first came out, how absolutely infuriating it was. And now I've heard in the post-Mando world, it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. So for any of you real ones out there who went through the absolute torture of that event when it first launched, here's to you. On the 28th, we have a couple. We have BB-8 turning 8 years old. Yikes. And IG-2000 turning 7 years old. 2000 is, the bounty hunter fleet. It's a fun fleet. And IG-2000, I think, gets overshadowed a little bit because Punishing One is so dominant and Razor Crest is so important and Houndstooth is important. Whatever, they all serve their roles. But IG-2000 really does some work and stuns. I mean, it's a fun ship. And BB-8, BB-8 is a little less fun. I think it's a neat kit, and when it first came out, I thought it was really exciting, and it was for a long time. It doesn't really have a strong home now. I mean, the Jedi training Rey with droids comp was fun while it lasted, but she gets used in a Rey team, if at all, and BB-8 can get splashed on a General Grievous team, but now you've got Droidica and Stap and just better options. So he really doesn't see that much play. Occasionally, maybe in Conquest where you want to kind of break your teams up a little bit. But still, when I do get to use BB-8, it is still a fun kit. On the 1st, we have one of my all-time favorite kit designs. This is one of the ones I go to when I talk about what Galaxy of Heroes has done right over the years, and it is TIE Fighter Pilot. The original TIE Fighter Pilot. Nice and simple. Just a basic that does buff immunity and an AoE that does some ability block. And that's about it. It's not complicated, but it's good and it's fun and we like it. And on the 2nd, we have Dark Trooper Moff Gideon turning 2 years old. DTMG. I've actually been looking at maybe buffing him a little bit for use in Territory Wars because he is pretty good. And like I have this weird bug that I just want to work on Territory Wars a little bit. I don't know what's wrong with me, but there you have it. All right. Let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events brought to you by swgohevents.com. For a complete list of past, present, and future events, swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. Now, it's not a huge list because we're at the end of the month, and you know what that means is just waiting, right? But we do have some pretty good stuff coming. On the 27th, we have an assault battle. It'll be ground war. Always love those. On the 28th, we have a smuggler's run, the original smuggler's run. On the 29th, we have an Omega battle on Jakku, followed by on the 30th, Stardust Transmission for anyone grinding your profundity blueprints still. And then the other huge thing on the 30th, beset on all sides, the legendary event for Jedi Master Mace Windu. It is coming back. I will finally have Mace Windu. I will be vindicated. I am so ready. Man, I'm so ready. I'm looking in-game right now as I record. It's 5 days and 11 hours. I can make it. 5 days and 11 hours. Let's do this. That means I get him for the next raid. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. Beyond that, we just don't know what's coming. So that's enough, though. I'm happy with that. Oh, we do have we have a Places of Power. And I didn't put the date. It's like October 2nd or something. So toward the end of the week, we'll have an assault battle, Places of Power. Now, before we get into this week's top stories, I want to give a quick shout out to our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of this exclusive community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. You can get VIP access to our Discord, which gives you some tiers, gives you early access to episodes, and of course, our weekly Doth Chat, where we chat with patrons each Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Your support keeps the lights on and the sandcrawlers running. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart. Pop-Tart's not here to punch it. I guess I'm going to have to punch it. All right, so let's talk first about this Relic Delta. I feel like the top stories this week, it could be shuffled around. They're all kind of big. So this Relic Delta, there is a new initiative by Capital Games that they announced in their community check-in, real casually, that they've got a closed playtest happening. And let me put it out there. I'm not in it. I was not contacted to be a part of this. But some content creators like Arnold T has announced that he's in it. Egnards has announced that he's in it. Scribe is in it. Those are the three that I've seen so far. I haven't really spent a lot of time poking around, but those three came across my feed. I watched a little bit of Egnard's video discussing it as well. I'll watch the others. I just only so many hours in the day. And basically they're testing out this new concept that they refer to as Relic Delta, that at its core, the problem they're trying to solve is that, let's say you have a Relic 5 team and you use it to counter a Relic 9 team. A great example would be, I have an all Relic 5 Treya team, and I use it to counter Riva. For now. In the future, I will not be able to, because as characters get farther apart in relic level, they get penalized more and more harshly. Now, there already is a penalty in that you don't have as strong stats at Relic 5 as you would at Relic 9. So the ability to, let's say, my Treya team, for instance, I can get some miles out of that because they perform fairly well at Relic 5. And I talk on my streams always. I'm talking about, I need to kick these guys up to Relic 7 because sometimes they don't get the job done. But they're still pretty reliable at Relic 5. And none of them are required to be any higher than Relic 5 for any unlocks or events or anything like that. So this is basically going to put an end to that type of play. And like I said, the problem they're trying to solve, and I'm going to be as generous as I can with this for right now, right, is they're trying to respect people's investments, which they always do. They always keep that as a priority. And I understand why that is important, right? But in so doing, they're clearly upsetting a lot of people because it's going to ruin the ability to know your counters and be strategic and defeat people who have a much higher GP than you. And let's be honest, that's a big part of the fun of Grand Arena. Territory War isn't fun no matter what, but Grand Arena is fun when you're able to punch up and you know, if you see someone with 2 or 3 million more GP than you and you can still beat them because you're smart and you know your counters, that feels great, and that's what we're giving up. Now, I said that they will be punished more harshly the further away they are, and I don't know all the numbers, but the example they gave is if you're 4 relic levels away, so Relic 5 versus Relic 9, and this is like 4 relic levels. That doesn't happen very often, right? But it does happen sometimes. Relic 3 versus Relic 7 would be an example, right? 95% penalty. So that means you do 5% of the damage that you currently do. They do get a 95% damage bonus. I mean, it just seems crazy to me. It's going out of your way to solve a problem that's not a problem. It's someone is messing with this game and trying to come up with an excuse for why they're doing all this. It seems so backwards to make this change. And then try and explain that we're respecting investments and that it'll help you in PvE. Yeah, it'll help you in some PvE. But what about Conquest, where Tier 5 of Hard Conquest is all Relic 8? Now, it's not always a walk in the park. It is not. You got to bring your good teams. But can you imagine grinding feats in Conquest when you have a 95% damage penalty? Or even if it's a 50% damage penalty? Are you kidding me? That blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I don't want to go all sky is falling because maybe these numbers will change and this will make more sense. I can see the upside. I really can. Like territory battles, it's I think, almost certainly going to be better. In the raid, it definitely has potential to be better. You got to see how it plays out. And I'm going to be really interested to see after these folks have more time to test what they report back. But as of right now, it just seems nuts. And we'll have to get Josh's take on this when he returns, because he literally quit playing Marvel Strike Force. I don't know if he wanted me to share this. I can't imagine. This doesn't seem like it's a confidential thing. But he quit playing Marvel Strike Force because they implemented something very similar called Overpowered. And from what I've seen on Reddit, he's not alone in that. They implemented this thing called Overpowered, which is basically the same thing in Marvel Strike Force. And it was universally panned. And to many, it ruined the experience. And then it sounds like they pulled it, or they put it on pause and they're reworking it or something. But having seen what played out at Marvel Strike Force, I really don't understand the why. Like, why are we doing this? Of course, there's the financial reason. They want everyone to upgrade their characters higher and higher. And I understand that, and I think they have every right to want that and to encourage that. But this doesn't seem right to me. I'm reserving final judgment, but it really feels like a misguided thing for now. So, like I said, it's new. The numbers are flexible. There are people testing it, and they will be sharing their information. So stay tuned to all of them for that. I'm not going to report back what they find every week, but we will comment on it as we see necessary. Yeah. So that's Relic Delta. Yay. All right, let's talk about something just a little more positive. These new datacrons. And they're not even that positive, to be completely honest. They're really just sort of, What we have with them is limited factions. It's only 3, I think. The return of some stuff that's kind of exciting, and then some new things that might be problems. The factions this time around are going to be pirates, unaligned force users again, and First Order. So, what we get in this is we get a really scary Ray datacron, and that's the one thing I was really fearing was an overpowered Ray datacron, and here it is. Basically, she's just going to ramp her ultimate really, really fast. And so, the Barris-Cron goes, and that makes the team less scary. The Stick-Ray-Cron goes, and that makes that version of the team less scary. But this Ray one, it's going to be a doozy. I can tell. Now, that said, First Order, let me just clear my throat. Or First Order Special Forces. See, I can't even say it. He's back with his stun everybody and wreck everybody's face Cron. That's back. So that's kind of exciting because that's a nice little attack Cron that just lets you take charge with the First Order team. And I really look forward to that. Overall, I think the set isn't that exciting. Besides, those kind of standouts. I think the Honda one looks like a lot of fun too. He's just doing all kinds of triggers every time he does a basic. So he's potentially going to be good on certain teams. I think, honestly, I use my Hondo on a Balin team, and I think it's going to be great for that. I think that's really going to be nice. Well, you know what? No, it's not, because you're still going to use Marak until that dusts. So, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a use for it. It looked pretty fun to me. But you've got the extra max health and protection for Dark Side. That's always solid. And then you've got the 20% turn meter boost for Light Side. So those are like the things that kind of stand out to me. The focused ones, I haven't put a lot of effort into. I think the Jawas, I always want the Jawa Datacron to be good, but let's be real, it's probably not. And none of the others look amazing. I kind of like the trench one just because I kind of like that team, and it does look like it could be kind of nasty with Dooku maybe going a little off. So I'll probably mess around with that one. I don't know if I'm going to buy all of them. And if I do, I probably won't level them up that much because I'm doing that this time around. And oof, it takes a lot. So, yeah. And it's called, what is it? It's Whispers of Wealth, I believe. Yeah. I don't know if that's a reference to something, but it just, doesn't that feel weird? I don't know. I'm just in a really critical mood, I guess, after reading all that Relic Delta stuff. I don't know. I think we're all feeling a little on edge right now. All right. Speaking of feeling on edge, sometimes when you feel on edge, you quit the game. And my next guest is SonicDeathMonkey. I want to set the table that he started playing early in the game and played for a long time in Black Sun Heroes. And we've been in, that guild together and this guild as well. And kind of been through the ringer of this game together. So it was exciting to sit down and catch up. It had been a long time since we had actually spoken. But I think it's cool. And I mentioned to him that I thought it was cool when we brought Josh on as a guest or as a co-host, because I had a different experience than Josh because our rosters were so different. Now Josh is kind of caught up. So we both have pretty similar experiences overall. We have all the Galactic Legends and we're both working on the same things and all that. But SonicDeathMonkey is in a different boat after taking 2 years off. And we talk about how that kind of frees him up to pursue different goals. And I think that's something we lose sight of sometimes, is you can just kind of work on what you want. So anyways, enough setup. I now present my talk with SonicDeathMonkey. Okay, so I am joined today by an old school GOH acquaintance. Been playing for a long time on and off, and I thought it would be a cool perspective as someone who left the game for an extended period of time and then returned after about 2 years to find a game that undoubtedly had changed in some pretty big ways. So here to talk about that experience and what coming back is like, I am joined by SonicDeathMonkey.
Hey, Sean. Good to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah. So I mentioned you started playing like when the game pretty much first started, right? You were one of the OGs from Black Sun Heroes.
Yeah. So it was really kind of just fortuitous. So when I was in college, I liked playing turn-based strategy games, Vandal Hearts, Final Fantasy Tactics, things like that. Never have been a big gamer otherwise, though, and happened on a whim to say, I wonder if there's anything like that for a mobile device. like in December of the year that Swugga launched. So,
Yeah.
and I've always been a Star Wars fan, so it was like 1 and 1 equals 3 in this case, and picked up the game about a month after it launched, and kind of haven't looked back since. Well, that's not true, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, we look back periodically. Yeah, so it launched in November 15, so that's almost 10 years ago.
Which is crazy. It's crazy
so
to think about.
Well, it's nuts to think about a game that's changed this much and gone through this many peaks and valleys, as I'm sure we'll also get to, but that it has persevered 10 years and it still isn't like ad supported or something, you know, like it hasn't degraded to a point where it's like a shell of its former self. It's in some ways more brutal, but it's still that game. So,
yeah, I feel like it's been touch and go at a couple points when the community is like the sky is falling and the end of the game is near.
Mm-hmm.
Once Luke Skywalker comes out, it's going to end. And you know,
Red 5 is the harbinger.
Red 5, that's right.
If that ever comes out, we're done.
The end is nigh.
Oh man. So yeah, you had played for since the early days, and then a couple years ago you left the game. And I know before that, I was looking back at I'll just air our laundry, right? But before that, I know you had reached out to me and asked, because I quit for like a week when if I remember correctly, it was when Malik came out, and he was just overpowered at the time, and it just felt like I don't enjoy this character being in the game, blah blah blah. So I leave, I come back, and it was very public. I was very dramatic about it. But you reached out and you were like, "Hey, I know that you had left and you came back. Curious about what that looked like. What kind of informed those decisions for you?" And we had a little talk, and I know you were kind of feeling some stress about some of the game commitments then. But that wasn't the straw that broke the back, was it? Like
no.
You hung out for a while after that.
Yeah, I did. Well, and I kind of went back and forth a little bit. So I knew that we were in Black Sun Heroes at the time, and it was competitive and had earned the right to be competitive.
Yeah.
And so I was struggling to keep up a little bit, just commitments at work and things like that. And I actually did step away from the guild for a minute, ended up in Josh's guild as one that was a little bit easier to consume. Yep.
Yeah.
And then came back to Black Sun Heroes, was a little bit more reinvigorated and for a while. But ultimately it just felt like it was becoming more and more of a job and less fun.
Yeah.
And so, at the time, the leadership was looking to make sure that we were continuing to evolve. And I feel like I was holding it back a little bit. And we had a conversation with the guild leadership, and they said, maybe it's time for you to join one of our other guilds. And I said, you know what, it's not fun right now for me. Feels like too much of a commitment. I can't keep up with the bleeding edge anymore. So I just stepped away. And for a while, I thought it was a really great decision. It was, all this time back and freedom to do other things and, kids to raise and everything else. And so at the time it felt like the right decision. And I think it was. So it was a tough one to make. And but all that commitment, all that investment, obviously, that you put into something like this. And I knew if I stepped away, trying to get back to where I was at the time would be really hard, but felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, it is a job at a certain point that, as I'm going to use my air quotes here, but guild leader, it's a title. I don't do the heavy lifting. And I know a lot of guild officers and leaders, the way they operate is like, I'm like, do you have a job? because this is crazy amounts of planning and recruitment and all that.
Yeah.
And I think in Radio Free Tatooiners, we scale that back significantly from some other experiences I've seen, but it still is an awful lot. So if it's not working out for you and it's too much, that is something that I can always relate to, because sometimes there's days for me where I'm just like, oh my God, I still haven't done Conquest either. Oh man, I thought I could go to bed, So yeah, definitely get that. So you step away, you get your life together, everything works out. Finally, you're free from the shackles of Galaxy of Heroes. And then you reinstall. What spurred that?
This is telling that I never took it off my phone. I put it like on a page where it was hidden, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But I never took it off. So in the back of my mind, I kind of wondered if at some point I'd want to come back.
Yeah.
And it was almost exactly 2 years to the month. It was 2 years to the month, almost 2 years to the day that I kind of had a feeling maybe I should do this. And I'll tell you, like, here's the reality of it. Phone is a nice distraction. Carry it around, need a break from, thinking too hard or doing something too serious, and a phone is there. And I found that I was looking at the stupidest things ever on social media. And I'm like, there's got to be a better use of my time than this. So I picked up another game, didn't really care about it. I'm like, well, once upon a time I had a friend.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to, God, who runs GG?
Dan? Or
no. Used to be our guild leader at Black Sun Hero, Sig. Yeah.
Sig runs
Sig. So
events.
I ran Sig, and I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey. And he was the one, and he was great. When I was leaving Black Sun Heroes, he was fantastic and wanted to find a home, wanted to find, something that was right for me. So I never felt like I was kicked out. It was just, where's the right place? So I reached out to Sig, and he said, I'm interested in picking it back up, but obviously not that competitive. And he shifted me your guys' way and at the right time. And the rest is.
Oh, so you want to really just mess around instead of like be a productive member of a guild? Why don't you go see the Tatooiners?
Pretty much. I mean, there's
it.
Some serious players in this guild, though, but it's not all fun and games. It's we got some clout.
I will name drop Bantha Pudu Utini. Blows my mind. Every raid, like 14 million, and every territory war, high producing, highly engaged, and I'm so glad we have him. I can't do that. I'm the content creator, guild leader. Like, I have all these titles, but at the end of the day, I'm just a schmuck that's trying to figure out how to remod efficiently and do something in the raid. And it's fun. We do have the gamut where we're at that stage in a guild where you do have those top performers like that. You also have some at the bottom that you're like, man, you going to pick your phone up or what's going on? And like, I hate to be in that situation where you have to start asking those questions, Yeah. But like you said, it's about fit. It's about fit.
Yeah.
So you get in where you fit in, I guess, I think is what they say.
I think that works out really well. So
you have it on your phone. You finally open that sucker back up and you get into it. You find a guild. What are the biggest like WTF moments of loading the game, looking at it and saying, oh, things have changed a little?
Yeah. There's a few things. Actually, the biggest thing is, so when I came back, when I left, I had every character. So coming back, there were, I think 45 is what I counted. There's more now in terms of the gap between when I left and now, because there's been a bunch that have been introduced recently, but the delta in 2 years was 45 characters. And you look at it, and I felt like my roster was still pretty good. It was a lot of the top tier characters.
Galactic Legends and such.
Yeah, well, I was missing two then because Leia and Ahsoka were both new, and now Hondo, obviously. But the way the what really shocked me is the degree to which one character on a team makes such a massive difference, like Ezra, like Darkseid Rey. Like not having those characters it made my teams shockingly inept. And so I go into it's a good thing we're not big on territory wars because I am functionally useless. I can put defenses down, but going against meta teams without the right characters is like it is Sisyphean. It is so challenging. So that's the biggest thing that I noticed is just how little things can make a difference. And I noticed how many little things there are too. Like Lobot has a special. When did that happen? And like there's little things that they adjust and tweak to characters here and there, and it makes the characters functionally completely different than what they used to be. So it was like relearning a language. So I had to figure out what the language was again and figure out how to speak it.
Yeah,
I'm still that's like missing a word here and there, but that's the big difference.
Interesting. And the idea of a language, I think there's a layer on that makes it even more interesting that like, most of the language, but like you said, certain characters have changed, certain rules have changed on how you upgrade or what the ceiling is now. So it's almost like, part of the language, but shoe means potato now. And you have to remember that. And that is going to be awkward. Yeah. So, interesting.
I'm still picking up the new slang is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. So based on like your memories of coming back and seeing the changes, are there things that you like instantly thought this is better now versus how it was, or things that you thought, oh my God, they ruined this part?
It's funny. I was thinking about what is ruined or what I missed. There probably isn't too much. Like the biggest thing is everything is more complicated. So you've got kits that are more complicated when they're released. The interactions are more complex than they used to be. And I think that's always been true, this evolution of the game, which is in some ways good, but hard to pick up when you've been away from it. Then you add in datacrons and the rotation of datacrons. When I left, datacrons were new. So I didn't even really get a chance to figure out how they worked, and then they've adapted, how they incorporated them into the game. Yeah. Omicrons were relatively new, so picking that up, like there's just all these layers of complexity that make it challenging. So I miss some of the simplicity, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the evolution of the game, I think. In terms of what's better, Conquest was also relatively new when I left the game, and it's by far my favorite mode. I love Conquest. Gives you an opportunity to try lots of different teams, challenges to try to figure out how to make things work. The raid not requiring timing, which I guess that was something that, everybody coordinating, that wasn't, it's been like that for a while. Character cadence of new releases has been really good lately. So I remember it being way more sporadic than that.
The era thing seems comfortable. I like that. Where, people complain about pirates, and that's fine. If you don't like the era of pirates, okay. Not a hill I'm going to die on. But the fact that you've got a few characters coming out and you're building towards something, it does feel kind of rewarding without having to. They've introduced battle pass type mechanics, but even without that, you're still getting these pirates, getting them together, and it's building towards something. Or whether it was the Bad Batch before, or I feel like the new one's a little loosey goosey. It's like hunting, but it's also Rogue One. Whatever. You're building towards something. So I do appreciate that, and even how they broke down episodes and episode passes and things like that. Like there's a logic to it that and a structure to it that I do appreciate. Yeah, I feel like we should mention as well. You have been back for what, like 4 or 5 months now, I think.
Yeah, about 4.
Is it? Okay. So you've had some time to kind of settle back into a rhythm. It's not all just crazy now. You're figuring things out. What are your, well, I guess as we say here often, like who you grinded? Like what are the goals that you're kind of like short term, medium, long, whatever? What's on your plate?
Actually, that is the best part about coming back is, before it was almost like everything was dictated to me in terms of what I had to farm, grind, work toward, build toward, by the nature of the release. And because I'm so far behind, I've got a lot of options, and having those options is really nice to pick and choose what's most interesting to me.
Yeah.
And there's a balance there that I'm still trying to do things that are right for the guild at a certain point and work on some of the latest stuff and balance it with the old stuff. So I am working on pirates. I've always wanted to be asked this question. What are you grind? Who are you grinding?
Who are you grinding?
This is great.
Here it is. Yeah.
It's so special.
Now you're really on Galactic War Report.
Now I'm back. So working on pirates, I actually am just on the point where I've satisfied all the requirements for GL Leia. So I've started to do. I'm in like phase 2 of opening her up, and I need to figure out how to remod to make that work because I couldn't do it with characters that I had. But like those are the 2 big things: is figure out how to work toward GL Hondo, and I've got Leia, and then there's like little side things like in territory battles, like I don't have any of the special mission stuff other than the Inquisitorius, so I need to figure out Cal Kestis and that special mission. Like, but it's nice to have little side projects and a bunch of stuff that I'm working on. And
I think it's so easy as an end game player and as like a guild officer or leader to be like, hey, guild, everyone work on this.
Yeah.
But like, your situation is one where it really is just kind of, if you were to talk to leadership and say, which I guess you're doing right now, right? But, and say, you know what? I'm just working on Balin right now. All right, well, that seems like a good idea. Like there's so many avenues that all pay off in different ways right now. Yeah. And that's not where I am at all. It's just the headspace is a little different there. You do feel like you have options, and I almost never do. It's always... gotta get this to Relic 9. Gotta do this to Relic 7, whatever.
It's freeing, let me tell you. It's like liberating. The only thing I'll tell you, like that's liberating. What is not is the purgatory of what's it called? Proving Ground. Proving Ground is the worst. It is. Yeah. So I've got all these characters that are locked up behind Proving Ground. It's going to take me a year to do anything with them. So like,
and that's not like simmable or anything. You have to earn that every time, right?
It is. It is simmable.
Oh, it is simmable.
So
okay.
I've cleared to 3-star all of those, and I'll do the conquest pass, so it gives me an extra day. But even accumulating like 40 shards per conquest, I mean, do the math. It's 8 months plus.
Yeah, that's rough.
I've got all these characters that are, big important characters and key to certain meta teams that there is just nothing I can do about.
But because you started that all around the same time, I feel like there's going to be like a landfall where you're going to have a couple months where everything is working out.
Well,
finally,
until you've got 10 characters to try to gear up all at the same time, and you've got all the gates associated with that.
Saved 180 Zeta mats for this next week.
Yeah, that's like a 1% problem. I'm not going to complain when I get there.
Right. Yeah. So, I would ask also, based on this whole experience, we've kind of covered the early days, what drove you from it and what brought you back and where you're at. If someone is considering coming back or has recently and they're overwhelmed, what kind of advice could you give them, and would you have approached it any differently?
So if they're listening to this, they've already taken step one. And
I suppose so. Yeah.
I mean that actually genuinely, like, I'm not pandering. That was how I started to get back into the game, was listening to episodes of this podcast in reverse order. And it's a really good compendium history of what I missed that I needed to know and do. Like, what's important, what's not important. And the most important thing is understanding, like, if you weren't talking about somebody, then I don't need to focus on them. And if you can find those sources of information that tell you how to prioritize, or maybe more importantly, what not to prioritize, then that's made a huge difference. So that I started with you guys, I think, put me on the right foot. And then it's rely on your tools, the .dg and the counters and the GAC meta and, Swugga for Life and how to go through Conquest. And there's a lot of resources still out there that
Swugga for Life
valuable.
is just incredibly useful. I love that site.
Well, and Bit Dynasty is fantastic. And,
you watch enough of his videos and you're like, I trust this guy. If he made a plan for Conquest, I'm going to follow this. You know?
It's logical. It's easy to, he lays it out in a good way. Yeah. So the point is that there are good resources and you can kind of learn what to focus on, what not to focus on, and kind of how to go about things. Maybe the most important thing is the thing I started with, and that's find the right guild. The what you mentioned in terms of get in to fit in. I think that's great. And then I've really enjoyed the experience coming back. The community of this game is what made it hard to leave in the first place, and probably kept me around longer than I should have. But it's also been great coming back and landing in a guild that's fantastic, and it's a good group of people. And there's some, Black Sun heroes that I remember, and Wolverines, and
we're the new junkyard, basically.
It's fantastic. So that's like, just find a community, and that's one of the best parts about this game is kind of we're all in it together, and I appreciate the camaraderie, the
good and the bad. Like we were talking, and we don't have all the intel on it just yet, but they have announced this Relic Delta thing that they're testing, and it sounds kind of ominous. But there is something about going on Reddit, and maybe this is the social media brain rot talking, but going on Reddit and seeing other people are reading this and feeling worried. It still feels like a community, like, oh, yeah, okay. All right, we're all kind of going through this thing. Yeah. And I think that's an important part to remember, too, that whenever anything changes like this, it's changing for all of us. We're all experiencing this, change in relics or change in raids or whatever they're changing. It's all, a part of a community. So I like that.
No, it's like I said, we're all in it together.
All right. Thank you once again, SonicDeathMonkey, for that. That was a fun talk. It's fun catching up with guildmates, I think. Now, I want to do a quick Grand Arena breakdown because we don't have Josh here, so it shouldn't take me too long to go through what happened to me this week in Grand Arena. And it was kind of quick gameplay. I'm looking at all my notes, and it's like half a page. Normally, I've got well over a page. So round one, I go up against Major Bones, and my Executor failed to take out a Radis. I thought that was weird. I think I just kind of hit auto and like zoned out while I was doing something else. I was on stream. But hey, I zone out on stream too. So I ended up winning 1793 to 78. Whew. Round two, I went up against Griffin. This I also streamed, and I don't know how to say it on a family-friendly podcast, but I beat him pretty bad. I did. I put up 1839, and while I'm kind of proud of it, I kind of feel bad. 1839 is a dirty thing to do. And so Griffin hopped on, attacked my Finn with a Wampa. That did not work, even with the Wampacron. Although, no, you know what? The Wampacron was not max level. So, anyways, didn't work. And that was that. 1839 to 10. Round 3 was a different story. I go up against Greg Dooku, the very dangerous relative of the Count. And, you know, sometimes the game just kind of tells you, hey, man, it's just not your day. And that's exactly what happened here, where Greg Dooku, he set some tough defenses, and my Jedi Master Kenobi failed to take out Supreme Leader Kylo. I did take out Crew, so I thought, I don't know, is there a chance? And there was not a chance. I tried with Rey, thinking, again, if I can take one character out, that's progress. No, there was no progress to be had. That was just a loss. So that was a shame, but it gives you your time back. You know, like when that happens to you, you can get mad, but you can also just kind of say, well, this round didn't work out. And that's kind of what I did. I lost 203 to 1716, but you know, 1716, it's not a terrible score, but that means I got some holds. My Reva held against Malgus and Phoenix with my 9th sister, Datacron. My Ahsoka barely held out versus Leia. Leia took everyone but Ahsoka out. And then they went in with Imperial Troopers and did not have success there either. And my Great Mothers held against Sith Eternal Emperor. And Finn got a hold against Talzin. So I feel like it was a good defensive showing, but, you know, that's the nature of those Datacrons. That Darkside Ray one is if you lose, you're done. You don't have a plan B. You're just done. All right, I don't have anyone here to set it up for me and to cleverly ask me who I'm grinding. So I'm just going to come right out and tell you who I'm grinding. My clones are almost all Relic 7 now. I love that. I've been working on them for the raid. So I took Apo and CX2 both from Relic 5 up to Relic 7. I got my Sneaky Boy from Relic 5 up to Relic 6. He'll be Relic 7 like in the morning. By the time this releases, he'll be Relic 7. Pretty excited about that as well. From the sounds of it, like I need to take Tarkin and Scorch up to Relic 9. So I think that's going to happen pretty darn soon. The only other thing is Depa Billaba and Temple Guard. I kind of want to bump them up from Relic 5 to Relic 7 so that when I get Mace, I can take him to Relic 7 and I got his whole squad at Relic 7 and I can do some decent things in the raid with that. So we're going to do that. Additionally, my Hondo stuff. Captain Athana went from 51 up to 76 out of 100. Quiggled went from 12 up to 48 out of 85. Kix went from 20 up to 41 out of 85. Brutus from 10 up to 31 out of 85. Silva went from 19 out of 65 up to 4 out of 85. So got some more Unvain. No progress there. He's 27 out of 85. So I've got them all up to 5 stars. Like I can technically go into the raid with them, but the pirates are so stinking weird that like if you don't have Maz or Hondo, they're just still duds. They're just duds. I've been trying to get better at this raid, and they are not helping. So, besides that, I think that's about it for Omicrons. I haven't done any this week, but I think I'm going to focus on Territory War a little bit. It feels weird to do that, but I really got into the data on this last Territory War, and I made a whole spreadsheet for the guild, and I'm not going to do this every time, but I'm kind of curious about like what teams are working for us and what teams we might do well to work on. And I've only got one Territory War for this data, but I mean, so far, Great Mothers are just, man, they're nasty. They're just really nasty. So yeah, I think I might invest there a little bit for the guild. Certainly not going to recommend anything yet to other guild mates. Like, hey, put this on this character because A, we're not a Territory War guild, and B, I don't know what the strategy is going to be just yet, but I think we're on the verge of figuring out some cool strategy. So for Datacrons, I took Vader's up from 11 to 14, and we'll be hitting 15. I don't know, kind of just keep going. The stats are great. So even if you're not using, like today I used it on a CLS team, I think, just because the stats are nuts. My Wampa is level 9. Rolo I took from 5 up to 8, and Shorty I took from 3 up to 5, and that's where they'll stay. Because like the next character boosts are really not anything I care about. I just took them up to those levels to get those extra couple little stat boosts, a little more offense, a little more health, whatever. That stuff kind of adds up. So yeah. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you get too comfortable with your Relic 3 counters. They're going to need some work, it sounds like. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. You can become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Pabuapa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.